Presumably you've all been sat on the edge of your seats for the last 24 hours trying to work out who the £200 million man is. The wait is over. We have transfers! Hello and welcome to part 37 of the Milan mission. I'm Kev, and coming up on today's episode we've got our first league game of the season, which is at home against Roma, but nobody really cares about that. It's all about the transfers. Yes, that's right, we really did spend £200 million on a player, and that player was Paulo Dybala, two-time Champions League winner, one of the best players in the world, runner-up in Ballon d'Or 2 years running. He has played for Juventus and Manchester City. At Juventus he won Serie A. Manchester City he's won the Premier League twice, the Champions League twice, the World Club Championship. He's been player of the Champions League. He was man of the match in the final last season. That's 2 years in a row we've signed the man of the match in the Champions League final. And Man City didn't want to sell him. So we spent £200 million on him, which I'm fairly confident that's the most you've ever seen anybody spend on a player in Football Manager. I know what you're thinking, I know we've overspent, I know it's ridiculous, but I'm pretty sure this is our last season of this save. I've consulted Kev's calendar, and I don't think we've got time for another season before FM17 is out, so go big or go home. We've signed one of the best players in the world, in a position that we needed to strengthen. He is a world-class player. I mean, look on that screen, pros and cons. There's no cons, everybody. He is pretty much perfect, which means he'll probably get injured today in his first league game for the club. He's not the only player who came in, and we also brought back the fullback of many names. We threatened that we might do this, and we pulled the trigger on it because he was actually on the transfer list at Liverpool. He knows he's only coming back as a backup player. There you go, look, it even says up there, backup player, which is fine. He knows his place now, and he can come in and sit there and offer backup to Makey and George, fullback on either side. He has won stuff at Liverpool. He went there and won the Champions League with him in the same team that Milan was in, so you know, he's a Champions League winner. This is the kind of player that we needed to bring in, and we've made money on him as well. He's only been away 18 months and we've made a £6 million profit on him. So Dishiglio comes back, and we signed someone else from Liverpool as well. It's the third player to come in from Liverpool in the last 12 months. Emre Can comes in. Initially I thought we were bringing him in as a midfield player, but I think he's probably going to end up offering cover at centre-back, full-back. If we need a defensive midfield player, he can just sort of play all over, very flexible, all good stuff. Again, look at this history on his career. He's won the Bundesliga, the Champions League, the Club World Championship. He's won the Italian Super Cup with us as well. But he's a Champions League winner, and he is as good as anyone we've got at the club. Well, almost as good. He's as good as Kurt Zuma as a centre-back. He is as good almost as our other central midfield players. He's by far and away the best defensive midfield player we've got at the club. He can play right back, he can play left back. He's just a very useful player to have around. He's another superstar, another Champions League winner. And again, £42 million, who cares? We seemingly have an endless pot of money because we still had another £40 million left over. I think this summer puts our total spend for the last 3 seasons upwards of £700 million, which is just ridiculous. I don't know where Milan are getting the money from, but I don't care. It's awesome. So we also brought in Mateo Kovacic. He comes in from, I forget where he came in from, comes in from Bayern Munich. People don't like it when I say it, Bayern. Bayern. Some club in Germany who apparently win games occasionally. But look at this lad's career history. He's played for Inter, he's played for Real Madrid, he's played for Bayern Munich. If we have a look at the competitions he's won, he's another player who, I mean, he's won the Croatian Cup for goodness sake, but he's got a Copa del Rey under his belt, he's got a couple of Bundesligas. He's got experience at the very top level. He can come in, play as a central midfield player where he's as good as Mauri. He can play as an attacking midfield player. Well, okay, so he's nowhere near as good as Lamar, so he's not going to play there very often. But, you know, he's a proper, close to world-class central midfield player. We spent £300 million on 3 excellent players and a homegrown player who we kind of needed to fix that element of the squad. There have been two departures who you'd be familiar with. Ignacio Camacho was incredibly important when we signed him a few years back, but he's not been getting game time for a little while. He goes back to Spain with his tail between his legs. If we hadn't have grown as a club, he would have remained good enough. Unfortunately, we've moved on so far that he was never going to be, but he probably wouldn't have even got registered for the squad. And Big Gomez. The Gomez brothers have been separated. Thank you for your service, Big Gomez, but you've gone off to Everton, £1.9 million. Again, you've barely played for 2 years now. We've got plenty of cover at centre-back now. We've got, obviously, Romagnoli and Zuma as our starting centre-backs. We've still got Little Gomez, who's got bags of potential. We've got Bazoa and Chan, who can play back there. So we don't need your Big Gomez. Never mind, eh? And in other news, Karim Benzema hasn't been registered for our squad, so we're trying to ship him out as well. We just don't have room for him. We also haven't registered Ceballos, but he's got a long-term injury, so that doesn't matter so much. But we might have to move him on as well, so the squad is getting quite bloated. For those of you worried I'm bankrupting AC Milan, by the way, we've still got a positive bank balance. The projection... I mean, yeah, we're doing all these on the never. But at the end of this season, when I think we'll be sailing off into the sunset, we're still going to have money in the bank. The next guy, screwed. We don't care because we're going to go and win the Champions League this season with this team of superstars that we've assembled and leave with a positive bank balance. Right, so this is the... oh, by the way, we won something as well. We won the Italian Super Cup, beating Fiorentina 5-0. We did lose in the European Super Cup to Man City 1-0. It was quite a close game, and it shows we're not quite there as a Champions League force yet, but we're a lot closer than we were. We won one of the pre-season friendlies 14-0. Danilo got a hat-trick, for goodness sake. Dybala is banging in the goals in the friendlies as well. He got one against Juventus, a hat-trick against Rimini. He got a hat-trick against Legnano as well, so he's scoring a few goals. And this is the team that we're going to be playing today for our first game of the season at home against Roma. Injury news, Deschilio and Gonzalo Guedes are both injured, as is the aforementioned Ceballos, who wouldn't be in the squad anyway because he's not registered. So this is our team, and this is the team that we want to go and win Serie A for the second time and go off on a big long Champions League run. I think we've got the strength in depth to do it now. So, in goal, Jack Butland, a very settled back four for a couple of seasons now. George, Romagnoli, Zuma and Makey. Mauri is partnered by Kovacic in midfield, meaning Bazoa and Danilo can't get in the team. That's how good we've become. Luan keeps his place up front for the time being with Dybala, Lamar and Gabriel Barbosa behind him. I expect when Guedes is back, Dybala moves up front. Dybala slots in, Dybala moves up front, Guedes slots in there, and we have to figure out how to get Luan into the side. It's a nice problem to have, and we need a big squad. Games are going to come thick and fast with hopefully a long Champions League run in the offing. Obviously, with all this positive waffle, you know how it goes at the start of the season when I'm too positive, we're probably now going to go and lose against Roma. Call it they're negative Nellies, aren't they? They're afraid of us. That's a good thing. I want teams to be afraid. Right, let's go and put on a spectacular performance of awesomeness. We want to see the £200 million man make his mark. He's number 17, by the way. So we're just expecting every time he touches the ball, magic to happen. Because otherwise, I mean, I'd sack me. If he isn't top scorer by Christmas, I'd sack me for spending £200 million on him. I promised the board he would be the difference between us being all right and us being a European superpower. He needs to kind of follow through on that and prove me right now. We'll see, won't we? Right, why is nothing happening? We're supposed to be this attacking force. We're not even getting the ball. I mean, the good thing is we've not let Roma have a shot yet, half an hour in. They could see me saying it and they wanted to prove me wrong. But we're not going to get a highlight in this first half. In fact, here we go. Dybala with the corner, nods it down to Zuma. Zuma finds Kovacic and forces a save out of the keeper, so he hasn't had a chance. Lamar with the free kick. Mauri picks it up, finds Kovacic, who finds Barbosa. Zuma out wide for some reason. Why on earth is he there? And he really can't cross. George finds Mauri. Dybala now, can he do something special? He finds Luan. He's got his first assist of the season. Luan has his second goal, having scored previously, I think, in the Italian Super Cup. And we're finally 1-0 up. Goodness me, did we make hard work of this. Right, Dybala picks up the ball, back to goal, a lot to do. And look at that for a pass. That's a £200 million pass you've seen right there. That is I mean, he spun round, not even looked up, knew where Luan would be, threaded it through 2 Roma players, and it was just about perfect. See, worth try telling me he wasn't worth £200 million now. Oh, I bet the comments are fun today. Right, George, now, chance to cross. Finds Barbosa. Barbosa doesn't like not being the main man anymore and is trying to do the spectacular, so I start going on about him again. You, Gabriel Barbosa, got a whole season of me talking about you before you even signed. Luan has made it 2-0. He's heard the pre-match waffle from me, and he's worried that he's the one whose position is under threat, despite being one of the top scorers last year. I think Lamar was actually top scorer in the end, but Luan was, I mean, I've raved about him all last year, but he's now got his 2nd goal. He wants to make himself undroppable. 200 million. I was the Champions League final man of the match the year before him. I got there first. You just signed me on a bit of a bargain. Right, Kovacic to Makey. Makey crosses to Luan. Can he get his hat-trick? He can't. He pulls it back for Dybala, who forces a save out of their keeper. Lamar now with the corner, and Romagnoli can't turn it in. We look a bit special, don't we? I like it a lot. I mean, look at, we're forcing them to play really poorly. We should be more than 2-0 up. Although, clear-cut chances-wise, we've had 2 clear-cut chances. So we're dominating play, but not quite converting it at the moment. Right, Lamar, we can't afford performances like the one you're putting out there today. So you are coming off, sir. And you are going to be replaced by Iosi or Rashford? We spent more on Rashford, didn't we? Let's give Rashford a bit of game time. And then Mauri can come off and Danilo can come on for him. I need to make sure I give both. Oh, in fact, we've got Emre as well on there. Emre Can, whatever his name is. So we've got 3 really good central midfielders who we need to give enough game time to. Do we give a debut to him? I think he probably needs to come on, doesn't he? And no, we'll do that. So Brazoa and Danilo both just sat there twiddling their thumbs, remembering when they were the stars last year. Oh, why did he sign 2 central midfield players? We were supposed to be awesome, and he raved about us all year. Well, you know, we had to. Right, Barbosa looks tired. I think he's probably going to be the next man to be sacrificed. And we will bring on... Do I really have to... Are we really down to... I mean, it's because Guedes is injured. We're going to have to bring Bonaventura on. In fact, I'm thinking, though, we'll stick Rashford out wide. And then maybe bring Ioze on. There we go. In fact, we won't. We'll do this. We're going to move everything around completely and do that. I think that's even prettier. There we go. And we'll confirm that and just let the game sort of peter out now. We don't need to push too hard. It would be nice to see Dybala score a worldie and his first home game for the club, but I think he's played well enough. He's got himself an assist. We've got ourselves at 2-0 where we utterly dominated a good side, and there you go, he got man of the match as well. £200 million, well spent, 18 key passes. We will take that week in, week out. Thank you very much. And that's that. I think we've got our next game, our next episode is going to be very soon, because we're playing Juventus really early this season. So what we're probably going to do is be back tomorrow for Juventus away, and then whoever this first game in the Champions League is. I'm not sure when the Champions League draw takes place. Probably after the Livorno game, maybe. But we'll certainly be back for this Juventus game, because that is going to be an important one. We want an unbeaten season, and they ruined it in that fixture last year. If you've enjoyed that episode, make sure you pop a like on there for me. Subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more. And thank you very much for watching.